Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Veritas Road podcast. Before we get to the fun, we just wanted to introduce you guys to our new partner, FNX Fitness.
Yeah, I've been having trouble sleeping for about 2 years now, and we don't have to get into why, but I've picked up some FNX Relax sleep aid. It's got some ashwagandha, some melatonin, all kinds of good stuff that'll help you drift off to sleep. Take one of these and sleep on a flat surface, and I guarantee you your sleep's going to improve.
Yeah, I mean, I tried out 2 of those before I handed them off to you, and it was fantastic. And I've been using their Refuel protein powder, which is delicious. I've been using their chocolate malt flavor. It's really good. Dissolves super well in milk, almond milk, water, whatever you want to use. And it's great for recovery. I've been using it post-workout for about a month now. And it's worked out super well. It's got a good whack of protein in there, some branched chain amino acids. It's good stuff. And they sell a full line of fitness supplements, sleep aids. They even have a new CBD line coming out, as well as some clothing as well. So you can go there for all of your fitness needs, really.
Yeah, if you're already using this kind of stuff, we could appreciate helping us out, helping the show out, helping FNX out, and helping yourself out. It's a win-win for everybody. If you use the discount coupon or whatever at checkout, Veritas Road 15, you get 15% off of whatever you're buying.
Yeah, all lowercase, Veritas Road 15, you get 15% off. So, I mean, who doesn't like 15%?
Yeah, we'll put that link in the show notes / description of wherever you're watching or listening to this show.
Yeah, guys, so thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the Veritas Road podcast. I'm Carson, back here with Murph. Election day's tomorrow. Murph, how's it going, buddy?
It's not tomorrow, it's the day after tomorrow. And it's going good.
The day this comes out, Election day will be tomorrow.
Yeah, but we gotta, break the fourth wall and keep continuity. We're recording this the day before it comes out. So let's just make that very clear. 2 days.
All right, so now that we've wasted everyone's time with that discussion.
Okay.
How you been doing okay?
It's pretty stressful. Why is it stressful? I mean, we'll get into it later. It shouldn't be stressful, but it is. There's a bit of angst. I guess you could say that.
I mean, there is.
It's an understatement.
And also, before we get into this, we're not trying to piss anybody off with our discussion tonight.
That's true.
Whatever side of whatever line you fall on, we're not trying to upset you.
Yeah, so what if you fall on no sign of any line? That's fine too.
Yeah. But you're right. It does seem like a way bigger deal than it ever has this year. I don't know if that's just I've noticed more of the media attention it's getting or what, but it's definitely given me the anxiety that all millennials seem to have.
That was a lot to break down. Why do all millennials seem to have anxiety? Why does the election cause anxiety?
Why does the
election? Should we talk
cause
about something lighter before we just jump right into it, like these new cactus I got from my land?
They do look nice.
Mm-hmm. These are native Tennessean cactus, but people didn't know that there are cactuses in Tennessee.
They do now.
Yeah, they do. So that's all I wanted to say. So I guess we can return to the election.
So back to what I was saying about the anxiety. Let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, what's the deal?
I don't know, man. Just massive amounts of media coverage. It's all over the internet. It's all people are talking about. You throw that on top of the corona, and it just feels like a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't have actual television, but I do have all of the streaming services, and every time I watch something, there are social media websites and individual people offering to register people to vote. How is that even is that a thing? How is that even possible? How can a third party entity register me to vote? I don't understand what's going on there.
I don't either. I don't know what you're trying to say. So you're talking about those pop-up ads on Facebook that you click on?
Well, yeah. So I was watching something on TV the other night, and one of the ads was from Facebook, I think, and it was there was an ad on Facebook saying click here to register to vote, and then I was watching a YouTube video, and some people said go to our website to register to vote.
I see what you're saying. You're like, how does Facebook have anything to do with you registering to vote?
Yeah, how do these third-party entities that have nothing to do with the U.S. government have anything to do with whether or not I'm supposed to register to vote?
Did they really have nothing to do with the U.S. government? I mean, that's a pretty bold statement there. How do you know they have nothing to do with the U.S. government?
Well, that's just what I'm told.
There you go.
Well, point being though, why are they trying to register me to vote?
Because it's a big deal, right? You got to choose your leader. You got to choose the direction, the battle for the soul of the country, all that stuff.
Well, yeah, but I thought I was supposed to go to like a public, like a government office for that, like the DMV or the county clerk or whatever other public office. The court.
Well, it's not safe this year, right?
Oh, I got bribed.
So you got to be online, or you got to send in your ballots through the mail, and then they're going to get lost, and then they're just going to magically show up. You know.
Yeah, that's another thing, is they're really pushing the mail-in ballots and the early voting, which I forget.
Yeah, I think there's a record turnout for early voting.
I see it all over social media.
In fact, I saw in Texas where more people have early voted than voted in 2016.
Seriously?
Yeah, in Texas, I believe I saw that.
That's insane.
My fact checkers can tell me if that's true or not, but I'm pretty dang sure that's true.
Our independent fact checkers
That's
here at the
right.
Veritas Road headquarters.
That's right.
Which is your dining room.
But that's just another reason that lets you know that it's a bigger deal this year than it has been probably.
Yeah, which I mean, none of that really. It just blows my mind.
So let's get why is it such a big deal? I guess.
I mean, that's my big question. I mean, I guess it's Trump's second. It's Trump's attempt at a second term. So yes, more people did early vote in Texas than voted in the entire election in 2016. That's what you're telling me. The invisible Connor. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad my memory's still kind of there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. But well, I mean, I guess it's Trump's second term, and everybody loves to hate on him.
Well, yeah, you either love Trump or hate Trump.
Yeah,
so you got the pickup truck army of people flying flags that are gonna be like, gotta go vote for him. And then you've got the city, like liberals, I guess, that'll say, oh, we hate him. So
right.
Either way, it's gonna mobilize people to go and
the urban
vote.
versus rural angst
Dichotomy.
going on. That's a better word for it. That's happening right now. The Trump versus the
Yeah. So why does that exist? How does Trump or Biden or Kamala or Pence, like, who cares about Pence, really? Like, he's
nobody has talked about him in 3 years.
He's definitely in fourth place in as far as notoriety and all this.
That's for sure. I forgot who he was. That is our vice president, right?
Yeah, well, he's the vice president.
I really forget. Sometimes I still think Biden's the vice president. I forget that we've changed that. I know we've changed the president, but I forget about Biden.
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything.
Well, yeah. So I mean, but to answer your question, Trump's has been an exceptionally polarizing figure since he decided to run back in 2016. Which that's not the first time he's run for president. So why he was so polarizing this time, I don't know.
He ran for the reform candidate in 2000, I believe. There's a Simpsons episode about that.
Really?
Isn't there? Did I make? Yes, there is.
I've never watched an episode.
It's been confirmed. What did you ask me?
Well, you were talking about why it was so, like, all the back and forth about this election, and well, Trump. Part of the reason is Trump's such a polarizing figure. Like, you have the people that hate him and the people that don't, and they seem to argue a lot over like even back. I can't remember that many elections because I haven't been alive that long. 27 years now that I've been alive. Like even like Bush when he was running against what's his name,
Kerry or Gore.
Which one was the first one?
Al Gore.
Al Gore. I don't remember Al Gore. I do remember him running against Kerry, and that wasn't nearly...
Yeah, did you know they were in the same fraternity at Yale? What are the odds of that? The two people running for president are in the exact same social club.
Yeah, so to finish that thought, that wasn't nearly as polarizing as Trump has been, which blows my mind, because I thought that was going to be the, craziest thing ever, because that was around like 9/11 and all that craziness, right?
It's 3 years after 9/11, but yeah.
So yeah, country's in an uproar, and there wasn't nearly the amount of divisive language and name-calling and rudeness, not just between the candidates, but between individual people that there is now.
Yeah, that's another thing we can touch on is just how involved people are now. Like, it is becoming almost part of their identity is what political people... Well, it's more like people... Well, it's kind of people on both sides, but people in ideology is like... really seeping into the mainstream life, and it seems like it's way more than it was when we were smaller. Maybe that's just because we were smaller and we didn't understand the big picture. But I don't know. Maybe we should have had an older person here to talk about that with. But it seems that way to me.
I mean, yeah, and I think that it's become so much more about people than ideology, because I've seen a couple of times two people will be arguing just a roaring pissing match. They're saying the exact same thing, but one's pro-Trump, one's not, and they're absolutely hating each other. But they're both fighting for the same stuff.
Well, I mean, what do you even mean fighting for the same stuff? How does any of this affect our lives? Really?
Explain yourself.
Like, so if Trump wins, how's that going to change your next week? If Biden wins, how's your next week going to be different? Honestly. Like, the federal government is such a giant behemoth monster. Okay, there's a strong hot take for you. But its trajectory, it's not going to change. Right?
You're saying that the engine's too big to turn.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like if you take the idea that the president is like the steering wheel, or the president is the driver, like the steering wheel can't even be moved at this point. It's just like there's no power steering fluid. Everything's locked up. But the engine's going, so it is going in one direction, no matter who's at the helm. Is my point.
So what you're saying is that at this point it really doesn't matter what people had to say. This engine's going the same direction, no matter the outcome.
Yeah, spin. That would be the direction it's going. Spending money.
I thought you were saying spin for
no.
I thought that was a joke.
SPEND. Spend.
Explain that a little bit more. I have no idea what you're trying to say.
Well, I mean, the government's just spending money. That's what it does. It spends money. And doesn't really help anyone.
That's a bold statement. I mean,
am I wrong?
I know a lot of people who would argue with you about that.
Well, then argue with me about that. I'm talking federal government, by the way, because I know a lot of food stamps that really does help a lot of families, whether that's good or bad. I mean, it's necessary because of the cycle, but I'm getting off on a tangent. My point is that's a lot of state government. I don't know how much federal food stamps there is. I could be speaking in ignorance. I'm pretty sure that's mostly state, though. Of course, the state does get a lot of their money from the federal government, but which gets its money from the banks. But you know what I'm trying to say.
I really don't at this point.
The trajectory is it's going to spend money. It doesn't matter what president's in there. All the Republicans talk about fiscal conservatism, and they're, what are we, $20 trillion in debt?
Something like that.
And then Democrats just want to add more. It's like, Democrats, where are you going to get the money? And then they'll say tax the rich. Well, I mean, we can get our own opinions. I'm obviously doing that here. There is not enough. You could tax the rich, the 1%, and take all of their money and still not be able to pay on the debt that we have.
It's an insane amount of debt.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. So are you telling me really that Trump or Biden or Kamala or Pence or whatever or Joe Jorgensen, you really think any of them are going to fix that? So why does it matter so much?
I mean, that's a fair question.
It seems like a lot of turmoil and hatred and like families getting mad at each other, especially here in the South, because like it's probably different up north because they're like in the blue states where everybody's like pretty liberal or whatever, and there's not as much
dissension.
Yeah, but here like you got young people, like a lot of people my age are like hardcore, like I guess Bernie bros. And then for some reason they take Joe Biden, which that doesn't make any sense.
They're both old men with white hair. I mean, that kind of works, right?
I guess.
They both have a hard time putting
okay, this is another thing. Look,
together.
I'm not trying to offend anybody, but this is a logical thing. So a big Democrat platform is like, we're tired of the old white men running things. And then the old white man is their nominee. Is there not a...
I mean, that is a little bit
confusing. Is that not a little bit... Right?
Yeah, I just had a girl ream me out. Well, not me specifically, but like go on a tirade the other day about how old white men were the worst. And she's a huge Biden supporter, and I was like,
yeah, that doesn't make sense. But
it's kind of confusing. I mean, I get why you hate Trump. That makes sense. But why do you like?
Yeah, going back to the point, there's a lot of division over something that does not affect our lives, at least immediately. Like it's like a slow thing, you know.
Well, I mean, isn't that the idea, though, that you're shaping the future for your kids or whatever?
Well, I mean, that gets in the, I guess, asking, is it possible to be shaped? That goes back, is it possible to stop the engine? Like, it's snowballing so much that one man cannot stop any of this. Like, it's the government has to spend to exist. Right.
So you keep going back to spending. So you're saying that the main issue here is government spending, right?
The main issue is the debt-based economy we have, which government spending is a necessary component of to keep the economy going. Yes.
Well, not like we have much of an economy in 2020. I mean, geez,
Well,
what do we have to lose?
Oh, hey, it doesn't make much sense though. Like, how has none of the airlines failed yet?
That's a fair
They
point.
have to
I
be
don't
getting
know.
like straight cash from the bank or the government or something, because nobody traveled for 5 months. Are you really telling me that the airlines have a lot of capital saved up? I mean, I thought they were operating on razor thin margins as it is. I mean, this would be a Richard question, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, nobody outside of like the food industry has really felt that much of a pain yet.
I can tell you the food industry has for sure.
That-
I mean, I went without a job for like.
I literally just said not many people outside of the food industry. So,
Well, I mean, yeah, but
like, if you work for a giant corporate, you're still getting your paycheck. So there's not much of an economic. Like, they say there's a big downturn, but it's not like we felt the downturn, you know? I guess.
I mean, maybe you or I haven't, but I mean, I know a few people who have been laid off. I actually met some people at work the other day who had lost their jobs because of the Rona, and
I mean, I'm
were,
not
like super down about it.
I'm not saying it's an ideal economy. I'm just saying it's not like completely destroyed yet. I guess that's my point. How do I tie that into what I was talking
Well,
about?
so I just was talking about how there's not much to save now that the economy has been destroyed. But so you're saying that neither Trump nor Biden are really going to be able to do anything
No.
to change that particular issue.
No,
But
which
if
is an
you-
important issue for sure.
I mean, yeah, but if you talk to most people on the street, that's the last thing on their minds. They're talking about like civil liberties and religious freedom and all sorts of other stuff. They're not talking about the deficit. They're talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the deficit.
So what are they talking about? Should we break some of that down?
I mean, I honestly try not to listen to most of those people.
I mean, you know me. I don't either. But what do you mean civil liberties? Like, you mean to tell me that these two guys are going to champion our civil liberties when you've got a record number of people in jail? You've basically got entire slave classes of people in jail. Like, the poorest people in this country basically are just constantly in and out of jail for like weed.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are lots of violent offenders too, but I'm trying to make the point that there is a cycle of poverty and jail, and that makes money, that provides free income, that provides a reason for governments to spend, and how is one person going to stop that on either end?
Definitely, yeah, and particularly it's less likely that two rich white dudes are going to be able to do much about that.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, why are people getting so mad at each other about stuff that does not affect them? Because it really is a big deal. Like, people get super mad at Trump and people who support Trump. It's almost like, if you support Trump, then you're a terrible person.
You might as well go kill a baby.
No, seriously, this is how, and same way for Trump supporters who think about Biden. It's like,
Yeah.
if you support Biden, then you are a terrible person. Like,
Might as well
first of all, how do supporting two alleged people, how does supporting them define your character?
it makes no sense.
How does it define who you are?
Yeah.
It's gone complete insanity.
You're totally right about that. I don't know how we reached that point, other than people have moved into just labeling,
Yeah, that's something we need to talk about. Is how
hating
to,
the label, and then if you have that label, well, I can hate you specifically now on a personal level, and not just the label.
But how did we reach that point, though? That's a great question.
Dude, I don't know. It seemed like I woke up one day, like, I don't know, 4 years ago maybe, when Trump was running, and everybody was on the either for or against Trump train, and all the fighting happened, and it seemed, at least to me, to be mainly driven by the media, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, the media's poison, all of them. But there's like, so you can take the Trump angle. So his idea basically is like, so the government is, like I said, a giant monster, and it has done nothing for years and 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 years. I don't agree with him on this. So
saying the New Deal didn't do anything?
Yeah. So vote for somebody who's going to change it, right? Trump is like the outsider. He's a real estate guy. He's not a politician, because every single president has either been a general or a politician before until Trump. So he's like, I'm going to change it. I'm going to get rid of drain the swamp, get all the people who just sit on their butts and get rich at the expense of the working man. And that's the kind of people he appealed to, right? Like the middle class kind of, like forgotten America, Rust Belt people, South people, farmers, all that.
Right.
But then on the other side, you've got, like, because he is outlandish. I mean, if he's like, watching him in the WWE is funny. It's like, yeah, man. He's good.
Trump was in the WWE.
He's good friends with Vince. What's his last? McMahon. That's not right. It's Mick something. Anyway,
I have no idea what
the owner of the XFL and the WWE is. It's not important. But you can see how that would be like. How is this guy the president? He's a complete clown. He's going to ruin America's alleged relationships with alleged other countries.
Yeah.
So right there you got polarization.
Yeah.
The people that are sick of the old guard, wanting somebody to change it. The people that are maybe even still sick of the old guard, but scared that the guy who's changing it is a complete moron.
But the big question there is, why do people feel so justified in absolutely reaming other people out based on that one idea?
That's a very deep question.
Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
to me.
it's just, here's what I think.
It's like people don't have a right to their own opinion anymore.
Yeah, it's a form of, it's just another form of virtue signaling, which is a form of narcissism. It's like, I have these political opinions, therefore I'm a better person than you. I'm a, quote, righteous, end quote, or person.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
For having these political opinions, on both sides. Yeah. I'm not saying it's definitely both sides.
No, yeah, I mean, like, for example, I just recently spent time working in a more urban area in Memphis, and then I moved to Jackson and worked at the same company there, right? While I was working in Memphis, all of my coworkers hate Trump, love Biden, love Bernie, and they would just sit around and like talk about that. And it was a lot of like confirmation bias, like we're all gonna like be happy with each other and talk about how much we hate Trump and love Joe Biden. After I moved to a more rural area, Jackson, it's the exact same thing, but in reverse. Everybody sits around and talks about how much they love Trump and how much they hate Joe Biden. And it's the exact same thing. They're all loving on each other, talking about how great each other are, reaming, everyone else out. And it's just crazy. It is. It's virtue signaling, and it's senseless.
And dude, I was guilty of it. Like, I was hardcore Trump supporter when all this started in 2016, because he was saying mostly good. He said some insane things, but mostly good things. Like,
he said a lot of insane
like
things.
Cleaning out the government. Like, I'm all for that. Auditing the Fed, like curbing, like just massive amounts of immigration, because there are tons of. Like, just the southern borders are wide open full of drug traffickers and human trafficking, and they just let them come in. And the asylum system is so broken that it's not, like, it's being taken advantage of. Like, I'm sure there are people that need to get in here that are coming in here, but I think the bad outweighs the good as far as drug trafficking goes. But I was all for that, but I mean, he's done none of that. It's almost like I said earlier, the trajectory of the government is impossible to change.
I mean, you're convincing me that it is right now.
Yeah,
I never would have thought that, but I mean, you're kind of right. A lot of the stuff that was like, a lot of the stuff that people have promised during their campaigns just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, what a useless thing to have a campaign promise a bunch of random stuff and then not follow.
Yeah, but it seems like this is another thing we talk about. It seems like every 4 years people forget that.
Yeah.
Like, well, you still vote. If every single year you vote for some dude who gets up there and rants and raves about what he's going to do, year after year after year after year, he doesn't do it, and the government gets bigger and spends more money. What are you still voting for?
Right. That makes zero sense to me.
And this might offend some people, but a lot of people think it's like a moral imperative to vote. What do you think about that?
I mean, I used to think that. Every year, even though I've never voted on the real, I've never voted. I've intended to, but I've always been registered to vote like 2 hours away from where I was living since I've been in school for way too long.
Oh, come on, absentee ballot, man.
Right, yeah. But anymore, it just seems almost senseless to me for me to vote. Now, other people, like if you are still confident that you have a voice and can make a change, whatever, then please go vote. I think that's your duty if that's your mindset. But for me personally, like, do I want to vote for a big orange guy? Do I want to vote for Joe Biden who can't put two words together? Like, I don't want to vote for either of those people. If I vote for an independent, that's going to be like casting a vote for a blank wall. And
I think it's all casting a vote for a blank wall at this point.
From what you're saying, it doesn't sound like it'll make a difference anyway. So why worry about it? Not that I don't think my voice matters, but that it seems like it's not gonna. Even if I do share my voice or whatever, it's not. There's not going to be much going on if I do.
Well, I mean, what if it's God's plan that one of these two should win? Like, that's a big thing we hear a lot at church.
I mean, if that's the case, if there's some cosmic force out there that intends one of them to win, that's going to happen with or without my help, right?
There is finally a logical response. Yeah.
Was what I was saying illogical?
No, I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, if there's some then they're going to win either way. Like, what difference does that make?
I think we've pretty much made our opinions clear. This whole divisiveness can be, at the very least, just lessened if people just didn't worry about it.
I mean, yeah, and even if you are, I mean, most people still hopefully have a more optimistic view of this than you and I do, and are still excited and want to vote, and good for them. But when you meet somebody who's maybe has different opinions than you, maybe don't hate them just because of those the conclusions that they've come to in their own time.
Yeah, that's a great thing that you bring up is being able to disagree with somebody. Like, you think Trump supporters and Biden supporters can like be friends, and
that just doesn't happen.
Go and get some coffee together and not call each other Nazis.
Right. Yeah. I have tons of friends I do that with, but it's because I've sought those people out. I can't do that with most people. I have my specific friends that I can go and we can disagree about stuff, and it's still going to be okay. If I go talk to a random stranger and we disagree, things aren't going to be okay. They're going to be incited to rage, and the whole day is going to be shot.
Yeah, that's probably true. But that's because you have a relationship with your friends. What was your point there?
Well,
I didn't know how to respond to that.
I guess my point is that, I'm lucky enough to have a few people who are open-minded and intelligent enough to disagree about things, but on the whole, the overwhelming majority
are not that way.
Yeah, they just go from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's because, like we talked about this in episode 1, there's a lot of pathos, a lot of emotional response to stuff they're hearing, and stuff that's being pumped out by the media and by all the corporations and whatever. And there's not, there's some obviously, but there's nowhere near as much thinking about it.
No, there's not. And even
like we were doing, thinking about it would be, the trajectory is. Our battery's at 1 bar.
Okay.
How long have we been going?
We've been going. It's getting close to 30 minutes now.
Sweet. What was I even saying?
Talking about the trajectory?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like the logos of it is just thinking about. Yeah, the trajectory's not changed. So why am I getting so mad about this if I can't do anything about it? See that's I think that's a more logical response as opposed to the emotion of, oh, you believe this, you're bad.
Right. And another thing I've seen is I never used to think of whether or not you decide to vote as like an emotional issue, but all the media attention that's been given to that is so intense.
Oh, yeah.
So intense.
You almost have to wonder, why are they doing it?
I mean, I'm starting to, because we saw, so, you know, you have the mainstream media narrative that's going on right now, like what you see, you know, kind of taking over the news cycle or the advertisement cycle or whatever. And for a while, it was like, come in and eat safely or whatever that was going on for forever, you know, like all the coronavirus stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's shifted from that to go vote. Go vote safely. Go vote. Go put a mail in your early ballot. Go vote. It's all voting. And it was almost like in lockstep. Everybody decided to shift their focus.
It's weird.
Which, it's crazy. It's it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Everywhere I look, it's the same thing. And it all seemed to happen like 2 months ago maybe?
Yeah, especially if we're supposed to be living in the kind of free market capitalism as described to us in school. Like, these people are all competitions. They are in competitions. All these companies are in competition. So how are they moving in such lockstep?
Yeah, all the ads on online streaming services, what little television I've seen, all the ads there, it's all focused on voting, and it all happened like around August, I think.
Yes,
like
September-ish.
all of the focus started shifting.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, we don't have enough battery to answer that question.
I mean,
is there some collusion? I mean, can I throw out that word in an election year? Is there some corporate collusion?
It would never be corporate
Not
collusion. Not
Russian collusion, maybe corporate collusion. Well, then who runs the corporations? I mean, they got to get their capital from somewhere, and it ain't from their savings account. I'm talking about the bank, people. But, you know, that's a chain of command that maybe we probably don't want to get on right now.
I mean, no, probably not. Most people probably don't care. But point being, there seems to be some kind of something directing people's attention.
Yes, that is without a doubt true. The media is good at raising up proxy warriors.
Proxy warriors?
Yeah, you know, like people that they hear, like, you know, let's just take like all this looting and stuff that was going on. So let's just say there was another case that shows up where another black guy was killed by a white police officer. That gets reported in whatever city it happened in, and then immediately people are rioting. So it's like, if the media would lied to you and had a fake story, well, then they've still, because people are in such an emotional state, well, then they've raised up warriors over a fake story in whatever city that would happen in. You see what I'm trying to say there? Like, it's like people are so emotionally involved with the news and the narrative and what's going on, like geopolitically, that their emotions are outweighing their thinking, and they're being manipulated into doing stuff that they might have not otherwise done. If that made any sense.
Freaking write that down. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So, like, what you're saying is that people are so emotionally involved in stuff, for lack of a better term.
They're opening themselves up to being manipulated
by the media.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
And then you ask, well, who controls the media? And then you just go down a rabbit hole. But yeah, that's kind of that's going on with the election too. Like, they're already bracing for businesses are closing in Chicago, boarding up windows for all the riots that are going to happen. Like, and we just kind of feel it.
Why would they know riots are going to happen?
It's just like you feel it almost, because the angst is so just.
I mean, why would you riot post-election? What is there to riot about?
Oh, Carson.
I did not riot the past 27 years of my life after an election. I have never rioted over anything. Why are we rioting?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the rioters that. I haven't rioted either.
At least over an election. I can get, if I like burned a house or something, like riot over that, but like not over
Well, what if it's an unjust election? right? What if it's the narrative's out there that Trump stole it? Or
how are you and I going to know that for sure? How am I going to know that it was a rigged election? How am I going to know that for certain? Unless the media tells me, and can I really trust what the media tells me?
I mean, even if you take the whole electoral system for face value as it is, they're screwing up left and right. I mean, Broward County is a disaster every single year with the hanging chads, with the
I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just over and over again. It's the same. It seems like it's Broward County all the time.
Great episode.
Florida's always like, oh, what's happening? Florida, every single year, Florida's screwing up. So even with the official electoral system, which I totally think is just not how it happens at all, but it's still complete confusion. So how would you know the results?
Is there anybody that actually does understand the American election process, like from point A to point B, mouth to anus? Anybody?
Probably a giant supercomputer, but
so QAnon is figuring all this stuff out.
That's right.
QAnon's in charge of the election, guys. We just found out.
Hey, there are people that believe that.
Oh, for serious?
Yeah, it's a big thing.
I'm sorry I used the phrase for serious. I hope you guys can forgive me for that.
It's a real big thing. I haven't looked too much into Q, but it is interesting. Especially the earlier, initial posts. It's on 4chan. It's a post by a user called Q. They say stuff. It's been coded into Trump's tweets before.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Why is he on Twitter all the time? Like, what?
I mean, do you really think it's Trump? I think some of them are probably Trump. I think some of them is probably like a social media team or something.
I mean, probably. Just like he's.
Some of them are hilarious.
They are. No, they're funny. They're fun. I never look at them, but the few I've read are funny. The few I've read are funny.
Yeah, but But then that would trigger all the liberal people would be like, oh, that's so unpresidential. Like, the president shouldn't be insulting rappers, that kind of stuff. Which
I mean, I guess that's a fair point. I
don't know.
guess.
It's all devolved into such a crazy comedy WWE slam down that who even knows what's going on.
That is such an accurate description of the political narrative over the past few years. It looks like a scripted WWE friggin' smack. You're right.
It's something else.
Can you imagine like Trump and Biden in a cage right now? I would pay so much to see that.
Dude, Trump would just destroy him.
I don't know. They're both kind of old and fat.
Yeah, but I mean Biden. I do not care or support either of these people. I think the whole system's a fraud. But Trump would destroy Biden in a physical fist fight. Like, Biden can barely talk. Like, he's almost as bad as I am as trying to get his words out.
I did watch a little bit of the last presidential debate, and it was so bad. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Yeah. Is there another one coming? No, we're done with those.
No.
We're done with those.
Nope, you literally got like a day and a half left.
That tells you how much attention I've been giving to this election over the past couple of months. Almost none.
Oh, well, we're going to run out of battery. We got to give some predictions.
We have 6 minutes left of battery.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
Well, we'll wind this down within that 6 minute time frame. Murph, do you have anything else you want to say about this?
Yeah, we should do our predictions. You can't do an election video without trying to predict the outcome.
I don't have any kind of prediction for this. Maybe
then you're boring.
Maybe the U.S. will blow up. I don't know.
Old Neil deGrasse says there's an asteroid coming.
I thought he was an actor. Is he a scientist? What's
the
deal?
You're talking about Bill Nye, maybe?
No, I'm talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I thought he was Is he an actor? Is he a scientist?
Do you want to know my opinion on what his deal is, or should we just let that one pass?
I think let that pass for a later time.
All right, well, he says an asteroid's coming. How would you see like a 6-foot asteroid in 90-something million miles of open, alleged empty space? I have no idea.
You eat your carrots. They're supposed to be good for your ass.
But, yeah. You just said America blew up, and that made me think of that. But all right, predictions.
Yeah.
One at a time.
I mean, I predict that people...
In more ways than one.
People are going to get... that made me laugh. I think people are going to get really pissed off. I mean, that's all. Do you have any predictions, Murph?
Yes. I think Trump will be the president. I don't know if he's going to win or refuse to leave office. I think that is the most likely scenario. So that's what I'm saying.
So you're saying...
I could be wrong. I definitely
Trump
could be wrong.
most likely... You're saying you predict that Trump will be president 2021 to 2024?
Yes.
5. 2025?
No, he's saying there's 5 minutes left.
Oh.
And it will be 2025. Yeah, because
Kind of. The way that works is really confusing. 'Cause
It'd be
we're like,
January-
2020, but it's going to change in 2025.
January 20th, 2025, right? Something like that.
Yeah, why don't we do it on January? Why can't we just start the new term on the 1st, like normal people do with New Year's resolutions? New president, we're going to all get fit and care about stuff, you know? Why don't
Yeah,
we-
now we're talking to an invisible friend who no one can see, but that's I don't know. I'm hiccuping. I don't know.
All right, so
You are skirting the prediction question. Give me a prediction, Carson.
I mean, if I really
You can be wrong.
I have no idea. I base most of my opinions off of what people tell me about the election because I don't care enough. But if I had to guess, I'd say if all the votes get counted, I'm gonna say Biden will win the popular vote.
Okay. So you think it'll be like a 2016 repeat, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know if Trump. I don't know who's gonna win. Biden will win the popular vote for sure. I don't know about who's gonna be president in 2020. I think we should talk a little
Trump.
bit about that book that you mentioned.
It starts a new term in 2021. Trump will be president in 2020.
Whatever. What's that book you were telling me about?
Oh, that's something we should end on.
Yeah.
Everyone look up the Ingersoll Lockwood book, and maybe that's all we should say about it.
Look up the Ingersoll Lockwood
Yeah,
book.
1892, 3 books written. I don't know how to spell it.
We'll put it in the show.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
We'll
yes.
put the book. We'll put something in the show
And
notes.
as you can determine for yourself what that means. Is it a red herring? Is it something more? Is it, time travel? I mean,
Tell us a little bit at least about the characters in the book.
Okay, the first book's about Barron Trump. Okay, Donald Trump's youngest son's name's Barron Trump. It's about him like going through underground tunnels and through Russia. It's crazy fantasy stuff. And his guide on the journey through his marvelous adventures, his name is Don.
His name is Don.
So that's kind of weird, don't you think? Then I think it's the third book. The title is The Last President. It's about a guy who lives in Fifth Avenue who won unexpectedly and upset a lot of people, and they rioted.
That's crazy. This book was written when?
1892.
That's insane. All right,
Yeah.
guys, we are running out of battery. We have 3
That's
minutes
right.
left. Anything else we need to cover before we put the train into sleep?
Yeah, that's
Best
pretty.
metaphor I
That's
had.
pretty good. Well, we should plug.
All right.
Do some plugs.
Okay, so guys, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media, YouTube. We're on wherever you get podcasts. We're there. Come visit us. We're there. FNX. Check out FNX Fitness.
That's
Use
right.
code Veritas Road 15 for 15% off. They're great. A lot of cool fitness supplements there. Murph uses their sleep formula, which
Yep.
is doing him a world of good. I was using their protein powder till I gave it to Murph, and it was fantastic. Haven't worked out in like a week, so I feel disgusting. Check out my blog. I know there'll be good stuff on there.
Yeah,
eventually.
when was the last time you wrote on that blog? You say that every time.
January.
Hey, still check it out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's exciting. Guys, thanks for listening. Murph, anything else?
No.
All right.
We'll be talking next time about something.
Yeah, we don't know what yet. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Train's pulling into the station.
That's
see y'all
right.
soon. Bye-bye.